And so in line 3, he's saying, for I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against you, you only have I sinned, and done this evil in your sight, that you may be found just when you speak, and blameless when you judge. And we just read that in First Corinthians about how our bodies is a temple of God. And when we do things like this, we're sinning against God. All right, so it says for line 3, for I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against you, you only have I sinned, and done this evil in your sight. And so that against you sends us to 2 Samuel 12:13. I said we want to get to there. 12:13. All right, and it talks about how David had repented, and said, then David said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said to David, the Lord has also put away your sin. You should not die. However, because by this deed you have given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also who is born to you shall surely die. And so even though God forgives us of our sins, and even though we confess our sins, even forsake it, because David didn't commit adultery again. All right. We have to bear those consequences for our sin and for those choices. All right. He got that child. That child was created by sin and in adultery. He lost that child. And not only did David lose his child, David, all kind of things happened to David after that. His other son had raped his sister. He tried to overthrow David from the kingdom. All right, a lot of things happened because of that sin. And we can't, that's why it's not good to play around with sin. Sin is no joke. It may be fun in the midst of it. I'm sure it was fun with Bathsheba, sleeping with Bathsheba. All right? But look, how long did that fun last? And was it really worth it? Sin is never worth it. It's never worth it. All right? Now, look at line 4. Okay, so against you, we went to 2 Samuel 12:13. Now, it says, you only have I sinned and have done evil in your sight. All right, and so that sends us to Luke 5:21. Luke 5:21, that says, and the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason, saying, who is this speaks blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone? All right. And then that sends us to Mark 2:6. That says, but some of the scribes were sitting there reasoning in their hearts, okay, why does the man speak blasphemies like this? Who can forgive sins but God alone? All right, and then so that sends us to Isaiah 43:25, and that we have already read already. All right, yeah, we already read that already, pertaining to line 1. So back to Psalm 51. It tells us also, it says that you may, this is like the C part or the B part of line 4, that you may be found just when you speak. All right, and blameless when you judge. And that sends us to Romans 3:4. So all these reference scriptures, 3:4, that says, certainly not, indeed let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that you may be justified in your words and may overcome when you are judged. All right. Okie dokie. And so let's move on to our next stanza. We're going to read it, and then we'll elaborate on it in the next segment. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin my mother conceived me. Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part you will make me to know wisdom. Well, we could go ahead and talk about it because we don't have any reference scriptures. But so line 5, behold, I was brought forth in iniquity. Remember, we are all born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And so that's why he's saying that. And in sin, my mother conceived me. Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts. Okay, in our inward parts, God desires that truth. And in the hidden part, talking about referring to our hidden areas, our private parts, you will make me to know wisdom. And so, and a lot of people need a lot of wisdom when it pertaining to their private parts and things that are hidden, because a lot of people are really don't have any wisdom when it comes down to exposing those hidden parts. Okay, and so we need direction and clarity, insight from God to keep them things wrapped up, not wrapped up like in promoting condoms and stuff like that, but keep it wrapped up until it's unwrapped in marriage. All right, so let's put it like that. All right, so now let's go ahead and break here, and we'll pick it up in line 7.